is up, grinders? Listen, we are warming up on a Wednesday morning. Excited to be here. Listen, I want to bring a discussion to the forefront that I feel like needs to be had. I've been in this industry long enough to have heard some examples of how to do this business great, and some not so great, right? I often come to my own planning, and my one question has always been, in fact, it probably was even before I really ever wrote my first policy, before I ever got my first batch of leads, but before I ever made my very first phone call, before any of that stuff started to happen, I had this question. I can remember text messaging my mentor and asking him this one thing. Listen, I had just met the guy, had just met him literally 3 days before for lunch so that he could explain to me what this Symmetry Financial Group thing, this insurance thing that I found, he could explain to me what it was, how it worked. And one of the questions that I was left with, one of the questions that I really needed to know the answer to was, how do I make more money in this industry? I'm talking, it probably puzzled him just as puzzled as I was, just as curious as I was about how to come into this business and make it work at the highest levels, to be able to be one of the stories that I saw on the leaderboards all the time. When I'm browsing through my social media, for me to be able to see myself performing the way that some of these superstars were. Listen, if that's you, let me encourage you. I've been there. Let me also give you some tools, some things that you can take along with you so that you can become more profitable in this business. And I'll tell you some of the stuff that I've learned about how a person can go out and create the ultimate income as a life insurance agent. Listen, before I do that, I want to slow down because we really love when people follow us, this channel. So do us a favor. Subscribe. Go ahead and subscribe if you're not one of our subscribers. We'd love to continue to get good content out to you, to be able to increase our lids all together, right? Iron sharpens iron, and so we are glad that you're here with us. By the way, every Wednesday, we're going to be putting out new material, new content, and I just want to make sure you get it. So make sure you hit that bell, right? And that's going to make sure that anytime I release something, anytime that something is put out, that you're going to be the first to know, all right? And by all means, if you really enjoy the content, if you got something out of it, do me another favor. There's a little arrow to share this thing. Share it with your friends. Share it with your agents. Share it with the people that you care about. Because if you got some value out of it, I know that they're going to get some value out of it as well. So let's dig in. So, through experience, listen, this is not hard. I'm not going to give you something that's going to completely be something that you need to dig into and that you need to study. No, it's simple. This business, what I found out is the more simple we are allowed to keep this business, the more profitable it becomes. And so I've been at all different kinds of contract levels. Yes, I've been at a 60% contract level. Yes, I've been on 50s and 40s with some carriers. Yes, I've been at 100, 120, 130% contract. Listen, what I'm telling you is that it has nothing to do with contract level. We can debate principle to principle. My contract level doesn't necessarily mean dollars in my bank account, right? And so I decided a long time ago that instead of being worried about my contract level, because I understand other factors like what do I get for doing nothing? This company that I'm working with, I get paid a lot for doing little to nothing, right? So it's nothing to do about the contract level. Sometimes it's a factor of, how affordable is it to get in front of a client? What does it cost me to actually sit down in front of a client? I know some people that's spending $60, $75, $80 on one lead, right? And that's not like they're going to get in front of that one lead. Not necessarily. Sometimes you're going to buy 10 leads and only get in front of 5 of them. And so in those cases, they're spending $120, $160, $200 to get in front of each client. And it cost me about $27 to get in front of each client. Right? So I know it had nothing to do with contract level. Sometimes it's cost to get in front of that client. Sometimes it's what are the extras, what are the bonus, who's following up with my business, who's doing that kind of stuff, what's the training and the mentorship like. A lot of that stuff it varies outside of just contract. So since we got that one out of the way, since we know it has very, very little, if not nothing, to do with the contract level itself, then Jeremy, how do I make more money in the insurance industry? Let me tell you it's simple. When I heard it for the first time, it blew my mind. My mentor, he says, there's only going to be, so true, only ever going to be 3 ways. Write these down. 3 ways to make more money in the insurance space. Number 1 is that you can go out and you can sell more. Right? So you can sell more. You can sell more policies. You can see more people. That sometimes means that you got referrals, right? You went out and turned 1 lead into 10 leads because you were able to say, hey, if you got value out of the way that we work together here and me protecting your family, who is it that you know that could get the same value out of this sort of protection? Go ahead and give me their first name and last name, right? A couple more follow-up questions. Great. How do you know them? Do you have a phone number on them? Hey, can you send a quick text real quick? Can you get on the phone real quick? Let them know that you're sitting here with your guy. And you can turn 1 lead into multiples. I've heard hundreds and hundreds of stories of this happening. Even in my own team, even in my own agency, if we're not capitalizing on things like referrals, we're doing ourselves a disservice, right? I can make a co-market list. I can say, hey, here's some people that I kind of know, right? And that maybe they're not the warmest to me. Maybe we're not best friends, but they're acquaintances or people I bumped into, maybe some relationships from church. I can write them out. I can make sure that I'm calling them and telling them about what I do for work. And I can get in front of more people and I can sell more policies, right? There's so many ways to be creative. I can get on TikTok and I can create a goofy video and I can send people to a link to schedule on my calendar with me and I can sell more policies. It's all about if I can get in front of more people, the volume of people that I can get in front of, right? The more that volume is, the more policies I can potentially sell. I can sell more policies. That's the first thing that you can do to make more money today in this industry. The second one is just as simple. I can sell bigger policies, right? Maybe you're in final expense. You're watching this and you're saying, hey, my average, I get about a $40 or $50 policy every single time I go in the home. That's about my average. You could sell bigger. Maybe you're at $70 or $80 or even at $100 on an average you can still go from $100 to $200 a month by creating more value, by getting into different niche markets, by being able to educate in a way that helps the client to see you as a professional that needs to take care of their bigger issues, bigger than the one that you sat in front of them for. I don't know how many times I've walked in on a mortgage protection client, and on a mortgage protection client come out with an advanced market deal a infinite banking situation, a debt elimination situation, right? Or maybe they had some money in the market. There's a lot of it right now and people are losing money on. They're scared. They remember 2008. They remember the last recession. Heck, they remember the last couple of years. And they don't want that money to be exposed to the ups and downs in the market. And we've got the perfect thing for them to be able to still grow their money in a very predictable manner, but also be able to shelter them from market losses, right? And the more value, the more impact. Listen, we get paid on the amount of impact really that we make for the client. It's directly correlated, right? And so the bigger the impact that I make for my client, the bigger the paycheck typically. And that's the best thing about this business and the rewards that are given to us for doing the things that our clients need it for us to do for them. To get ourselves out of the way, and the fact that we wanted to make one sale and be really quick, and to be able to slow down, take some time, understand that client situation and help them to the fullest, right? To the best of our abilities, okay? The third, it's just as simple, and in fact, it is probably the best way to make more money in this industry. And as simple as it is, a lot of people on this last one, they never really get started, and they end up being in this industry 10, 15, 20 years and wondering why they go so far and they plateau and then they go down and up season and down season. And it's because they failed to duplicate themselves. They failed to go out and help other people learn how to do this business and change their own lives, their family's financial future forever, right? Giving them the ability to go out and earn six figures in 6 months, like so many of us have been able to do. The third way is that we've got to duplicate ourselves. That's the only other way to make more money in this industry is besides selling more and selling bigger, is that we have to begin to duplicate ourselves. We have to go out and be the person that passes the torch and not try to be greedy and say, oh, if I have more people, then I'm going to have less for me and I can make those sales on my own. Not trying to be selfish and say, hey, you know what, I don't want the headaches of other people. One of the most rewarding aspects of this business is being able to give somebody the opportunity, the same shot that was given to me, to go out and to create a legacy. One, not just a legacy for themselves, right, but a legacy that lives beyond themselves, a legacy that they can literally leave and pass behind prosperity, not poverty, prosperity for generations and generations and generations. This business is that good. If we think about how many millionaires, how many ultra six-figure earners are out in this world, this industry, we can think of 2 or 3 people right now off the top of our heads that would completely be different, right? They would be completely different. Their whole outlook would be different. Their situation would be different. Their circumstances would be different. Everything would be different for them if we just reached out to them and said, hey, you know what? I see you and I know the kind of person that you are, and you deserve to be in an industry like this, and I'm willing to show you the ropes. I'm willing to show you the ropes, or put you with somebody that can show you the ropes, because I think that you're worth it, right? If somebody had reached out to me 5 years prior and said, I think you're worth it, I think that you should be in this business, I would have been in this business, right? Sometimes our silence is just as bad as us being able to seeing somebody literally getting shot, not say anything about it. It's just as bad as me witnessing a house fire and not trying to do anything to help, or a vehicle crash and not stopping and pulling over. It is one of the ultimate disappointments in mankind if I don't go out and help somebody to create this type of thing when I know it exists. I know that it exists. I know it's powerful. I know that people can change their lives, and I know that there's a lot more clients who need our help, and I know that I can't do it by myself. By duplicating yourself, you're going to allow for you and your family to have more time. You're inevitably going to have more money. You're inevitably going to sell more insurance because you've got more people going out and helping more people. You're helping the masses of clients whenever you're doing it as a team, and I can only help so many when I do it by myself, right? If my income is always going to be determined by whether or not I can physically get up and go out to work, I really don't have a business. If I don't have a business, then I'm self-employed. If I'm self-employed, then I've got to go to work. If I get sick and I'm self-employed, then I can't go to work and I don't earn an income. So the way to make more money in this industry, one of the better ways, duplicate yourself. Take what you've learned, each one teach one, pass this thing along, and see, don't you sell more insurance and you're going to earn way more money. Listen, that's my tips for today. It's Wednesday. I'm excited. I'm fired up. Hopefully you are too. Go out and share this thing. Help some more people. Sell some bigger policies. Put more money in your pocket and go out and teach other people how to do it. We'll see you next week.